Thank you so much. So let me introduce about myself. So my name is Sai. I have around 10 plus years of experience. I've been working in the cloud domain since last 6 years. Um, and I'm in the training side since last 4 years on the training end. Previously, I used to work on another Microsoft ETL tools only, but it's on premise. Now I'm working on the cloud side as a data engineer. And let me introduce about the program, what you are going to learn here. Our program is about Synaps plus Fabric, Microsoft Fabric. So both comes under data engineering side only, data engineer side. Okay, this is what we are going to take now. Synaps plus Fabric. Okay, let me go and introduce a little bit of the data engineer roles, what you will do in the real time, and then we'll start with the basic Azure terminology. As a data engineer, we need to collect data from various places. Okay, various places such that it might be from SQL Server on premise. This terminology we will be discussing in the coming class also. So for now, go with the SQL Server on premise or Oracle. Let's say Azure SQL database, data lake, Gento. So these terminologies will be habituated, but as a data engineer, you need to get data from all these places and combine them, transform the data, and you have to store them back in the either data like Gento or any data warehouse or any SQL database. So that is what your duty. We need to collect data from various places and we have to utilize those data. You can merge the data either from the files, either from the databases. We need to do it and we have to transform the data as required by the customer. You need to apply some logics, SCD type logics, and finally you'll store the data in the target location, which might be again a SQL database, Azure SQL database, or a data like Gento, or a dedicated SQL pool. So any target as per your customer preference. So this duty is part of data engineering daily job. This is what you will be doing your entire life as a data engineer. Okay. Now I wanted to take basics of Azure. So how many of you know Azure here? How many of you are new to Azure? Are you new to Azure or you are aware of Azure?
New to Azure.
You're aware of Azure, it's a cloud platform.
Okay. Okay, it's a cloud provider from Microsoft. Azure is a cloud provider from Microsoft. So let us go with basic details first because everyone is new to Azure and to the cloud environment. So Azure is a cloud provider from Microsoft. So likewise, AWS is from Amazon Web Services and GCP Cloud, Google Cloud Platform, that is from Google. So we have different cloud platforms or cloud vendors or cloud providers available in the market. So Azure is from Microsoft. Now, what is cloud computing? What is cloud computing then? What is first of all a cloud? Why we are saying cloud and why are we adding something called computing and this together? What is it? Anything is fine. Whatever you say, just try to answer. Whatever you have in your mind, just open up yourself and try to answer.
Like you don't need a software on the computer, but it's already accessible on the internet.
Mhm. Very good.
Something don't need on-premise to hold the data. We can just subscribe and get the storage space and load the data and accessible at anywhere. We have to be there for accessing the on-premise.
Very good. So let me tell this thing. So cloud computing is nothing but the resources or the services. Let me use the word services. The services like what all services? The services like CPU, RAM, storage, memory, infrastructure, like networking, all this comes under infrastructure. So all these services, okay, this together we call it as some compute. Okay, compute means a machine, in the sense compute is nothing but like a machine. What is your laptop consists of? Your laptop is a combination of these things only, right? Do you agree? Your laptop is consists of combines of CPU, RAM, storage, memory, everything. This is what your laptop, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So those services, whatever the services which I have written, nothing but a machine in the backend. These services I'm getting over the internet. These services I'm getting over the internet. Okay, these services I'm getting over the internet. Okay, the services like CPU, RAM, storage, memory, infrastructure, I'm getting over the internet. That's why we call it as cloud computing. So these services, whatever I have written, we call it as a compute here. In a normal terms, we call it as a compute. These services together, all these services together, we call it as compute, and we are getting over the internet. That means through the virtually. So that's why I'm saying it as cloud computing. The combination of definition. Okay, this is the definition for this. So I hope it is making sense now. The cloud computing word, because I'm getting all these computer resources over the internet. That's why I'm calling it as cloud computing. Okay. Now let us discuss about Azure now. Architecture. So every technology, they maintain some architecture in the backend. Okay, they might give an overview of the architecture for us in the backend. So likewise, architecture for Azure is also there, and it is classified into two types. One is physical architecture, and next one is logical architecture. So you have two types of architecture here: physical and logical. Let me go with physical architecture first. So your physical architecture, I have a couple of things. So basically, it starts with a region. I'll explain what is region. And the next, first let it goes with region. A region is a place where the data centers are located. It's a place where data center is located. I'm saying a region is a place where data center is located. Then what is data center? And what is data center? A place where group of servers are located. A place where group of servers are located. We call it as data center. Then what is server here? I use a term called server. What is server then? Again, this thing only. server is a combination of all these things. It's a combination of all these things. In a simple term, say compute. And where these servers will be placed? We will be placing them in the racks. These servers will be placed in the racks. So this is completely about the physical architecture in the back end of Azure. So first thing, though Azure we are saying it is a cloud, they will keep the servers, physical servers in some location. Okay, they will keep the physical servers in a location, but they will provide us access to that physical location. Okay, if it is in US, they will keep the servers in the US, but from India I can access those servers. These virtual capabilities, this Azure has provided. I can access the servers which are in US from India by sitting in India. I can access those servers. So these virtual capabilities they have provided us, and that is why we are saying it as cloud computing. Now let's say I said a region is a place where data center is located. So data center is nothing but a place where group of servers are located. Server is nothing but this combination I said. So let's see the data center how it will look like in Azure. Let me open the Google and let me show you Azure data center. Okay, let me click on this Azure data centers. Let me go to the images section. If you see here, this is how a data center will look like. It, for example, this might be available in East US or Central India, East India. So many places we have. Okay, so this is how the servers will be located with this kind of data centers. Okay, with this kind of data centers our servers are located. So this is how it will be looking like. Okay, and this is the data center, and this we call it as a region. Let's say East US we call it as a region. South India we call it as a region. Central India we call it as a region. But in that region I'll have this data center. Let's say in the South India, in Hyderabad location, Microsoft might have a data center. So in Hyderabad location, in some acres of land, they'll be building these kind of small buildings, and they'll keep the the servers inside the data centers. Okay, so let me show you here. The data center is a group of servers and servers. Let me go with the server mechanism now. If I open this image, you can see the servers are placed inside a room. This is also an image for that. The servers are placed inside the room. Are you able to see my Chrome, everyone?
Yes.
Yeah. So the servers are placed like this inside a room, and this is how the servers are placed in this room. And whatever this you are seeing, right, step by step, these things on the side, these are called racks. Inside the racks, the servers are placed. So these are called racks. So this guy, if you see here, he is keeping the server inside the rack. So these are racks. So likewise, we will have the racks and the servers, all these things. So these people will be keeping servers like this. They'll have internet connection, they'll have power supply, everything they'll have. Those things will be maintained by Microsoft. Okay. So this is the physical architecture: region, data centers, servers, racks. Let me go with the logical architecture. In the logical architecture side, we have to log in into a portal, portal.azure.com. Once we log in into a portal, like how we log in into a Gmail, or how we log in into YouTube, or how we log in into OneDrive. So like that, we'll be logging into a portal, and inside this portal, the first thing you'll have is tenant ID. So every company will have the tenant IDs. Let's say valuelabs.com, comma @microsoft.com, let me say here @Deloitte.com. So likewise, the tenant IDs will be there for each company, and inside the tenant ID, you will have something called subscription. There will be multiple subscriptions for each tenant. You have so many subscription types. Let me give you the example. Free trial subscription. You have something called um, Visual Studio subscription. These are the different types of subscription. We have student access subscription. We have finally pay as you go subscription. So these are the 4 kinds of subscriptions I have. So free trial subscription can be created with a credit card or a debit card. Credit card or debit card. You can create this account, free trial subscription, and they will deduct some 2 rupees from your credit card or debit card, and they will in return they'll provide you 16,000 rupees in Indian currency, and if you are in US they will be providing $200 with the free trial subscription. Now Visual Studio subscription, this will be provided by companies for practicing. Companies for practicing regularly, they will be recharging your wallet on the Azure like 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 based on the company, and they'll give for practicing Visual Studio subscription. Student access subscription. If you are a student in any university, you can get this student access subscription, and they will give you $100 for practice, and that too for 90 days they'll provide. And this thing they'll provide for 16,000 rupees for 30 days only. This will be valid only for 30 days. Either the 16,000 completes first or the 30 days comes first, the account will be disabled automatically. Now let me go with the pay as you go subscription. In real time, all the companies or their clients, they'll go with the pay as you go subscription, because we don't know what is the cost we will be getting. So they'll go with pay as you go subscription. Microsoft will bill per minute. Okay, some resources will be billed per second also, and you will be getting the billing as much as you use only. Let's say if I created a SQL database in Azure, and if I use it for some 2 hours, the billing will come only for 2 hours. If I use it for 2 days, billing will come for 2 days. If I use it for 2 months, billing will, I should pay for the bill for 2 months. That's it. So whatever you use, the billing, you'll be getting that much amount only. So that is what we call it as pay as you go subscription. This is what real time every project will use. Pay as you go subscription. And next, under the architecture, we said tenant ID, subscription. So all these things will be under subscription. Now let me go with another thing. We call it as resource groups. Resource groups. What are these resource groups? Resource groups, like in your engineering college, you might have you have different branches like EC, CSC, EEE, IT. Likewise, in the companies, they'll be having different projects, and different projects will create different resources. Okay, for example, you are in a project called Scandinavian Airlines, SAS. You might be using a resource group where it will hold the dev resources. Let's say this is how the resource groups will be there: SAS dev, SAS QA, SAS prod. As it's my project is about Scandinavian Airlines, I'll use that project and I'll give this SAS dev, SAS QA, SAS prod Like that, I'll create multiple resource groups. Under these resource groups, I'll be maintaining again the resources. What resources? SQL database, virtual machine, Synaps. So all these things, whatever I create, I'll maintain under these things. So what is the difference then? Why I should maintain multiple resource groups? So in the development area, I don't need to work. I don't need to pay huge amount for my development environment, because there will be limited data, limited testing. Resources will be you'll be go with less resource configuration in the development. But whereas in production environment, the customer data will be huge. Okay, so for that the configuration will be different. So that's why we'll maintain different resource groups and we'll be creating different resources. That is how we'll be segregating. So tenant ID, subscriptions, resource groups, and finally resources. This is the logical architecture of Azure. So any questions, guys? Anyone till here? Are we good?
Yep.
Okay.
Sai, I have one question.
Yes, please.
I'm a little bit confused between Microsoft Fabric and Azure Data Engineering because when I was reading and going through some stuffs, Microsoft Fabric is nothing but a combination of all the resources uh, which are used in data engineering. They're clubbed together and they're giving us a Microsoft Fabric. So here will be you'll be teaching Azure Data Engineering resources which are combined together as Microsoft Fabric, right? Is this correct?
Yes. Let me go through the topics. Okay. I'll explain the topics, what we are going to cover, and what is the difference. I'll explain. Okay. Is that fine?
Thank you.
Let me
Thank
take
you.
that question.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone on this part? Whatever we have discussed till now, is it clear? So let me jump into the topics we will cover in future and what all things we will be learning as part of this program. Let me discuss that. So let me go here. Let me discuss the topics now. We will be discussing something called Synapse in Azure. Okay. We'll be discussing in Synapse in Azure Portal. We'll be discussing something called Data Factory. We'll be seeing the differences between Synapse and Data Factory. We'll be seeing the differences between Synapse and Data Factory, and both are ETL tools which is available in the data engineering side. And we will be learning something called basic SQL basics as part of this program. We will be learning, after all these things, we will be learning something called Microsoft Fabric. This is another portal which Microsoft has launched recently in November last year, and it's been used by the companies now. It came into the usage, and what it has is it's a combination of multiple tools in one portal. At one place, it's a combination of the Synapse plus Data Factory plus SQL. Let me say here Data Factory plus you have something called Lakehouse plus Warehouse plus you have real-time analytics plus Power BI. So all this combination they brought into a single tool called as Microsoft Fabric. This we will cover as part of Microsoft Fabric. So why we are going with Synapse then first? Synapse and data engineering stuff, why we wanted to learn? SQL basics, why we wanted to learn? As we are new to the Azure cloud, so we should go with a scratch, and this half portion once you complete it, we will be guiding you to apply on data engineering jobs. We will provide interview questions, we will provide you resume preparation tips, and you will be going with Azure's data engineering job on the Synaps. You can apply for that. You can attend parallelly the interviews. Next part we are going to cover is Microsoft Fabric. This you will be learning, and all this combination of things you will be learning as part of Fabric. So how to utilize this data factory in the Fabric? The UI will be changing, the activities will change. So how to utilize this Fabric? So after a couple of, let's say 2 or 3 years, so the people will stop completely using them and they'll jump into this part, because this has better performance compared to the other ones. So all this stuff we will be learning in the Microsoft Fabric. So the program will be splitted into these two types. So half you can go with Synapse engineering and half you can go with Microsoft Fabric. So together you can say it as a data engineering stuff only. You have all these things available. Any questions?
So in Fabric, means individually when we are doing data factory work or Synapse works, as a data engineer, it's different. Means the command should be the same, but the way the graphical user interface is there in Microsoft Fabric is lot better and it's more usable.
Yeah, the Microsoft Fabric, you have that UI different completely. And second thing, couple of activities. For example, in Synapse, if I wanted to send an email to someone, if something fails, if I wanted to send an email, I have to use some logic apps in Synapse. So that's again a third party. I have to, third party in the sense third tool. I have to go and create a logic app, then integrate with Synapse and logic apps and send an email. But that issue is not available in Fabric. We have directly a task for sending an email. So there are things which are improvised, that means improved from compared to the Synapse data factory to Fabric. Okay, so let's say we have a vehicle of four-wheeler. Okay, the basic version, the next medium version, and the premium version. So now Microsoft Fabric, we consider it as a premium version. So the data factory is the basic version, Synapse is the medium version, Microsoft Fabric is the premium version. So that is how we can categorize in a simple words. Is that clear?
Yep. And say one more thing, like these topics like Synapse, Data Factory, Lakehouse, Warehouse, Real-Time Analytics, Power BI, individually they are very big. Means if you want to go in depth of it, like one course itself, one topic itself would take months to cover. So here you will be just like giving some introduction and uh, just shows the platform and just introduce all this stuff to us, like in what way the course will go, because I'm within 2 months this big topics needs to be covered. So how we are going to achieve this?
So let me tell you, whatever you learn here, it's part of a project. You are not giving me 1 or 2 days. Okay, you are giving me 40 days of time, including 2 hours, 2 months almost. Okay, so you'll be giving 2 months of time for me. So if you wanted to learn any technology, I hope that is sufficient. Okay, if you are going with a good platform, you are going under a good guidance, that is sufficient. If you go to the YouTube, if you go to another place, I'm not saying YouTube is not good, it is excellent place for learning. But if you don't have some guidance for you to follow up the things, what content you have to learn or what is after, and how the real time process goes on, so that will work, that will not work, right? Like for 2 months, if a company hires you and if they ask you to learn a technology, will they give more than 2 months for you?
No, Sai, my in
No,
the
no, I'm
company,
just
if
asking.
no, no,
It's
in the
if you
company,
if you join the company.
in the company, if some technology comes or if business requirement comes, uh, and if the requirement is there, instead of 2 months we have to do it in 2 weeks as per the requirement. You have to work day and night. And if there is plenty of time, instead of 2 months you can take 2 years to complete, based on the requirement, we have to just do it. There's no question asked about it. Here, my only concern is I'm just trying to understand these are very big topics and we are trying to cover it
How
in
you
two
know
months
these are very big topics? How you know?
because I had done little work on this. I started checking on the Power
Okay.
BI in the options
So
which were. I'm just
I'm
asking. I'm just curious. Yeah,
no, I'm the trainer. So I am saying that it will complete in next 40 days.
no
You are
problem.
saying from your own experience that it will not complete. So under my guidance, I am assuring that after 15 days of time on this course on Synapse, if you say that I did not learn
No, no,
anything and this is not useful, then whatever
no,
you
no, no.
tell, I can listen to you. So,
No,
but
no.
just
I
trust
I
someone.
completely
Okay,
I
trust
completely agree
people
with
that
you.
can be did. Yeah,
Yeah, as you said, like we'll be doing one project, and through the project we'll be learning. It's fine. I'm just trying
yeah.
to understand, like in depth. If you want to go, at least you'll make us self-sufficient. If any
We'll
problem
go
comes,
in
that
very in depth. Okay, we'll go in really in depth. So if I train you after completion of Synapse, if I ask you to join any project of Synapse, you'll be doing that without any doubt. That I can assure you. Okay, we'll be learning very deep the topics.
How about people who are from the non-tech background? I know a little bit of
Okay,
SQL, but um,
yeah. For non-technical background, ma'am, previously what we have is we used to maintain in an on-premise scenario. Let me say before cloud, the tools which we have, no, we used to work with a lot of SQL knowledge there. Okay, but
mhm,
in cloud, they remove the dependency of the coding. For example, we used to have something called SED type 1 logic, SED type 2 logic. We used to write in the SQL code. Okay, we used to write plenty of code there. But coming to the cloud, we have something called data flows in cloud. So those are virtually, that means in a diagrammatically or visual way, they have categorized the SQL. Okay, you don't need to learn much SQL here. You can utilize the existing tool and you can finish your work. So that is how simple people are making things. But how to utilize the tool, we should know.
makes sense.
Okay, but yeah, and at least some part of SQL you need it. I'm not saying completely without SQL it will go. No, some part of SQL is needed. That I'll teach you as part of the program.
Okay, thank you.
We'll learn from the beginning of the SQL and we'll be going whatever we needed. I'll be teaching as part of this program. Okay.
Yep, sir. It might sound repetitive, but
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to just understand. Say, for example, you spoke about data engineering. I have a slight understanding about those ETL and ELT workflows.
Mm-hmm.
So predominantly, I guess you will pull the data from ADLS. I think this is called One Lake inside Fabric. You pull it
Yes.
into some Spark notebooks, I guess, and then you'll do ETL flow, and then after that is done, I guess you'll load it into some warehouse in some, standard Delta Parquet formats. So then subsequent to that, are you going to cover the data science persona, which is embedded inside Fabric? So for example, you have data splits like testing, validation, data split. We have to do one hot encoding. Then we have to identify which algorithm is fitting with the data distribution. For that, we require mathematical understanding of the different data distributions we have. And then after that, we have to do hyperparameter tuning. And then eventually we have to build a model. And then we have
Okay.
to,
Okay. Can I
manage the
pause you here?
model with ML ops. Yeah. So
Can I
what
pause
I
you?
wanted to let you know is to what level of depth are you going to cover? Are you going to cover
So
the complete ML ops or not? That's the question. I think everybody was also, I think someone else was also asking the similar question. Where are we striking that balance? Are we going so deep into it so that we don't have to, need the mathematical understanding also? Or, like, help me understand that part.
okay. First of all, this is a data engineering program. So whatever you're
Only
discussing
until
is data
warehouse.
scientist. You are discussing data
Yep.
scientist. So this is not a
But
data
that is
scientist
also
program.
included in Fabric. Right? That is also
So it
included in Fabric.
okay. In Azure, it is included everything. AML is
No,
included in
no,
Azure.
inside.
So not let's
Inside
let me tell you.
Fabric,
We
inside
have
Fabric, I'm talking.
so many things will be included. So what is your level of things? You're not a DevOps engineer. In Fabric, there will be included DevOps work also. So we are not a DevOps engineer. Everything will have
Yeah, but
separate
DevOps,
teams.
we have to do medallion architecture, right? We have to deploy from dev to test,
First,
test to prod, right?
let me tell you. Okay, you are talking very huge in a bigger manner. But whatever your role is not that big. No, you are not a data analyst. You are not a data scientist. The program I said beginning only, it's a data engineering program. So whatever your work is there, no, they'll pay for you that only, data engineer. They'll not ask you to do data scientist work. They'll not ask you to do data analyst work. They'll not ask you to do DevOps engineer work. No, in Fabric there will be many things, but that means you are not. That doesn't mean that you have to work on DevOps part. You have to work on data analyst. That is not the case, right? You are a data engineer. Your role is confined to that. So
The
that is what the
problem
level
here
of
is,
guidance people here is, the level of guidance you have to follow is, if you follow this YouTube thing, no, they will teach very good, but you don't know what is your role first of all. So that is where the problem comes. So if you are wanted to become a data engineer, follow the data engineering path. If you wanted to follow the data scientist path, so you follow data scientist path. Okay,
eventually after we
I work
load the
on same
data in the
Fabric platform.
warehouse,
No, I work on same Fabric platform as a data engineer. There will be people working on the same Fabric platform as a data scientist. So their method of working is different. My method of tools I'm using different. So till what extent you wanted to capture this as a data engineer or a data scientist? You should decide that.
so the problem here is the companies are expecting more and they want to reduce the cost. That is the main problem here. Somebody has told,
Okay. This is
they
not the
have
program,
3 months time.
Prakash. Let me remind you. This is not the program you are searching for as a data scientist. This is not the program.
Not the data
If
scientist.
you
First
wanted to
of all, we
become
have to
a data
complete
scientist,
data
this is
engineering.
not.
Sir, you're not allowing
So
me to
the
speak.
data
If I
scientist.
don't have my questions clarified, how will I find out my role? My questions are very simple here. Because of recession
No,
in
you are
US
not.
and UK and Canada,
You are not
they are
asking that
asking me
simple.
to do everything. They are asking me to do data engineering, data science, DevOps, because everything is low code, no code in Fabric. And they are paying huge money to Microsoft Fabric for the compute which they are
Prakash,
attaching.
let me stop you. You can call me separately. You can talk me separately. Okay,
No, no, no.
because you are not in a
It's a
position to
it's the
understand.
same it's the same question everybody will have, sir. Same question everybody is going to have. So let
So if you
everybody
join a, let me
understand
say,
what
you
are
are
the
going to join a
complexities.
Python programming. If you join a Python program, will you talk about Java?
Sir,
Because in
this is
US, people
inside
will ask
Fabric.
you. There will be hundreds of things.
This
That
is
is what I'm
inside
saying. No,
Fabric. In Fabric, we will not have
no.
Java. In Fabric, we will have
In
Python, we will have SQL, we will have R, we have Scala. We don't have Java inside Fabric. I am talking very specific to Fabric. Whatever
you
is
can
the
call me
Fabric
and
training
talk these
program.
things. Okay, you can call me. I can answer
Sir,
your
if
questions.
everybody gets to know, they will know the realities, right? I want everybody to know the realities. How much is the span of this program as an expectation in the industry? When I come in as a Fabric developer, they are asking me to do everything. This is the unfortunate reality. It's your call, but this is the reality. We have to do everything. Companies are expecting us to do everything, or
I'm
else
a
we will
data
lose
engineer.
our contracts.
I'm a data engineer.
Sir, that
Okay,
is past,
I'm a
sir.
working
That is
professional.
past. Data Fabric,
Who
the
is
data
past?
bricks, everything is already over. No, Microsoft has already declared that they will not do any more enhancements in data bricks and data factory because the companies are having
First of all,
huge
Databricks is
expectations.
third-party company. It's not of Microsoft. Databricks is
I know
third-party
that,
company.
and they are running it on Azure. I understand those aspects, but the problem is they want everything simple and clear.
So,
So if
Prakash,
let
here I have one question to you. You said that companies want to do everything. Like, what type of
Inside
everything
Fabric,
inside Fabric? I mean,
we
what type? Like, can you explain me that?
in Synaps we have data science person now. So initially, first of all, we have to take the data from SQL database, as Sai has already explained it. We have to load it into ADLS Gen 2, which is renamed as One Lake, which is available to all the personas. Now again from one leg, again we have to load it into the ETL workflows through a Spark underneath distributed architecture. And after the ETL workflow is done, we have to load it into data warehouse, which is Synaps. After Synaps, again we have to query the data and then create data frames. Again, we have to do the whole data science workflows. That is the expectation. After the data science workflows are done, when we fit the model, we do the hyperparameter tuning. Again, we have to develop a model. And after the model is developed, we have to host that model, we have to create an endpoint, and then we have to connect it to the front end. Again, for the
No,
front end,
boss.
they're asking us to do
This is not.
Microsoft Power Platform. See, you're
So
not
you are in
allowing
the
me to
wrong
complete.
path.
You're
Okay.
asking me a question.
This is not.
Somebody is
This is not.
asking me a question,
No,
I'm answering. They want the
this is
complete
not
overall
correct. Okay.
MLOps workflow to be implemented in Microsoft Fabric, because
You are
everything is
saying
there inside
all the
Microsoft
things.
Fabric. And yes, this is unfortunate reality. I've attended so many interviews. Everybody's asking this. No,
Okay.
I want to be black and
I
white and
just
very
wanted to
honest with
know.
you.
I'm saying just honestly with you all. Whatever you are talking, that is not a data engineer role. So if you go into that interview, that means you are skipping on the wrong path. That is clearly okay. We have students who attended the program. They got Fabric job in US. No one talked this way. How we are explaining these things? No one will ask because I know I'm an interview person. I know how will I take people on data engineering. But you're just saying
No,
all the things
you
mixed.
tell me,
Because
sir.
you have
Sir,
some
sir.
knowledge. You have some
Let's
knowledge.
be
You wanted to
honest.
elaborate.
Let, no, let's
You
be
wanted to
honest.
elaborate and disturb others. That
You
is
are
what
a
clearly I'm
Fabric
getting.
analytics engineer. You are a Fabrics analytics engineer. You know very well what are the services which are available inside Fabric. Companies are asking this. How do we defend? Give me the answer. I am going to attend
That
the
is what I'm
interview.
saying. No,
They are
if a
asking me
company
how.
asks
What
like
should I
that,
say?
they don't want to hire you first of
What
all.
should I say?
That is what they are trying to do. Because if you are going in a wrong path, people will ask you. You claim you might claiming as a data scientist, everything will claim, and people will ask you that questions. If you go for a data engineer job, why people will ask you data scientist questions?
I just applied for Fabric and they asked me all these questions.
No. You are completely diverting everything.
See,
Data engineer role is different. Data scientist role is different. They'll pay for each of
data
them. They'll have
engineering
separate roles.
data engineering is
So
just
this
to clean
program
the
is
data,
about data
transform
engineering.
and load
I'm
it
still.
into warehouse. That's it.
Hello.
It's a very
You
simple
are.
job. Okay,
Oh,
you
Sir,
continue,
you
sir.
need
But
you
this is the
define it. You
reality.
define it as simple. Really?
ETL workflow is very simple. That is already
That
made
means
available
you
in
have some
Microsoft
knowledge and
website
you're
is
just
what they are
diverting other
saying.
people. That is what I can
They,
understand.
they,
No,
they
Sai,
you are just having
can
some
we
knowledge.
please
learn.microsoft.com.
can we please
Just
respect everybody's time and not please waste time on questions? This is just a demo class. So if you have personal questions, we are all waiting for the session to end because we have other works. But can we please at least complete the demo because we are non-tech people and you guys are going too much into tech. So let's just
no,
understand.
Niharika. That guy. Let me say you. Couple of people will join like the demos. They just wanted to disturb that people. That is what people do. So there will be people who talk non-related things. I'm stretching many times. It is data engineering. He's talking about data scientist things.
No, I understand, but can you please continue? You can cut him off. You can please continue, right? We're all
Yeah,
waiting
you
to
can.
Sure,
I
sure.
mean, yeah, I know you, Sai. I mean, what he's saying, really, I didn't understand. He's saying we have to do everything. What is
Hmm.
that everything? I really didn't understand. Yeah, you can continue.
I'm saying no. He came from some place and he just wanted to disturb the demo. So he's trying
exactly.
to
Okay.
divert the things and he's talking in a way. I asked him to call personally, but he's still saying
Yeah.
everyone has
He
to
can
know,
connect
everyone
with
has
you
to do.
personally, Saib, instead of wasting everyone's time here.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Let me continue here.
Yeah,
Sorry,
please.
guys.
No problem.
So we have, yeah. So we have 40 days of time for our program. So in the 40 days, whatever I promised now here, we will be learning them, and we will also have 2 projects will be done from our end. So go with the 2 projects. One is on Synapse. What a Synapse data engineering role will suit you. I'll give that complete project, end-to-end project. In our class, regularly we'll be learning some small percentage of the topic. And finally, when I go till the 15th or 16th class, you will be having entire idea of how the Synapse flows will be working, and I'll show you some real-time project in the Synapse itself. Okay, in the Synapse itself from a third-party company, I'll try to show you how the real-time project in the Synapse will look like, how the people are working. That is in the US project only. So this is on the Synapse side, and after completing Synapse part, you'll be giving the project, mini project. Once you do that mini project, you can start applying for the Synapse roles. Okay, so you can apply on the Synapse roles after completing that mini project. So it will take hardly 18 to 20 days. You have to spend time here on this tool. Once this is done, we'll be jumping into Fabric. So here you'll be getting again the knowledge on Synapse part, how to use the Synapse in the Fabric, how to use data factory in the Fabric. This is already created in the Fabric, so we no need to create externally them. We need to use the activities. The UI will change the whatever the performance related things, why it is more better than the other tools Synapse and data factory, that we will see. And we will be learning some new concepts called lakehouse and data warehouse. So we will be knowing those things, lakehouse and data warehouse, as part of this program, and how to utilize this one lake feature, which Microsoft said now for entire company there will be only one storage place. Previously in a company there will be multiple storage places, but for now entire company will have only one storage system, which we call it as one lake. So how we can use one lake for our workloads and why it is very good compared to the other things we'll be discussing as part of the Fabric. And finally, let me come to the notebooks part. In the notebook section, we'll be learning little bit PySpark code, how to get data from again on-premise to the cloud or from one place to another place. If you wanted to use PySpark code and do that, we will be learning that. But you can go visual level also in the Fabric. We have something called visuals like Data Factory that will also do the same job. Once completion of the course, you can decide where you are comfortable. So if you are going for a Fabric role, it is not that someone will decide that this is what you have to use. No, people will ask you, this is a project, how will you do? So you have to guide them how you can do the project. So this is what entirely we will be doing. This is about the complete course. Any questions?
No, very good.
So
Yes, Ravi,
my only
please.
request is, like, means I'm confident like after the course will be self-sufficient to survive in the company. But while doing some projects like real-time projects or after joining some company, if we need any help regarding this Fabric, would you be available for to guide us
Yes,
and
yes,
more?
definitely, definitely. We will have a WhatsApp group with us. Everyone will be tagged there. And once the course is completed, still you have any questions, you can ask me. If you wanted to join in another batch, you can ask me. If you want a help in your project, you can ask me. That is secondary things. But we will be in contact. Everyone will be in contact.
Perfect. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
sure, Sai.
Sai,
Thank you
I
all.
have one
So
doubt.
yes, please. Yes,
Uh,
please.
Sai, about interview, do you help on interviews also?
Yes, yes, ma'am. We will be provide, but we can discuss offline. Okay, those things.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. No problem.
Yeah.
Hi, Sai. Chaitanya here. One question.
Yes,
How
please.
is this different from Azure Data Engineer? Like most of the topics are covered in Data Engineer, right? Azure Data Engineer.
Yes. Yes.
So, like,
So
how this is different? Like, we can choose either or is there
yeah,
any
you can
main
choose either
difference?
one. Now people are going with Synapse. Previously, we used to go with Synapse with the Databricks combination. Okay, for even
Okay.
Microsoft employee, or if you wanted to go for Microsoft projects, we have to choose either Synapse and Data Factory together. Okay, but no project will maintain both the things. It is very rare situation that people will maintain Synapse and Databricks together, because they are wasting money there. If you have two cars with the same premium capabilities, if you are having five-seater cars, two at your home, so that is waste,
Okay.
right? So one person, we can't use two same premium cars, right? So in the similar way, if a project is maintaining Synapse and Databricks together, that is waste of their money. So very rare situation, people will go with that. So now they are saying we want a combination of Synapse or Microsoft Fabric, or we wanted to complete migrate the Synapse work into Microsoft Fabric. That is what their requirement now. Okay, so this thing
Okay.
will come into the market in full fledged in next 6 months to 1 year, but already the positions are open in US for Microsoft Fabric role.
Okay.
Okay,
So in Indian market, like how much experience we need to keep to get calls, like
okay.
3 plus or 4 plus?
To get calls on the Fabric, you need to at least claim I have 5 years of knowledge in the cloud domain. Okay, because Microsoft
Okay.
Fabric is released in November only, it's not even a year. So we have to say
Mm.
5 years of experience in cloud domain, where you have to keep that 5 years of experience in this place,
Synapse.
Synapse Data Factory. Okay, so 5 years of
Oh,
experience on this place, and next you can keep 6 months experience in Microsoft Fabric.
okay.
Okay,
Okay,
So,
sir.
so overall you can claim 4 years and 6 months or 5 years and 6 months. This you can keep here.
Okay.
hi, Sai, this is Abhi.
Yes, Abhi.
Yeah, right now I was looking at like a Power BI roles like Power BI data analyst or Power BI developer. So I know a little bit of Power BI. So how this gonna? So I don't know. I mean, this course gonna help me in any way if I know Power
Yes.
BI or
So if you know Power BI,
uh-huh.
Microsoft Fabric will be
Mhm.
like we use Power Queries here. You know Power Query, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So that Power Queries will help us to transform the data in Fabric.
Okay.
So you know when we open the Power Query in the Power BI,
Uh-huh.
we can remove the columns. We
Yeah,
can
transform.
do
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah, yeah.
transform. The
Okay.
transform section, entire transform section in Power BI, they kept in
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft Fabric as a Power Query.
Okay.
So it
Okay.
will be very easy for you to jump into data engineering side from Power BI, data analyst to data engineering.
Oh, okay. Really? Okay. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, that'll
Okay,
be.
and we have here something called auto creating reports.
Mm-hmm.
So with that feature, they are going to somewhat reduce the jobs on Power BI side because we will we will generate the Power BI reports on the fly here.
Okay. Okay.
So that feature also we have. It is good, but still your role will be available. Power BI role.
Uh-huh.
We can because you know DAX, you know Power
Dax.
Query,
No,
so
yeah.
it
I
will
know Dax.
sustain your job. But eventually, that is going to reduce the Power BI DevOps in a project. There can be people who just want Power BI reports in a normal way. They don't expect much calculations.
Sorry, there is a
Okay.
lot
Okay,
of noise. You can't hear properly. There's a lot of
might
noise.
be. Can you please be me on mute? Others, Abhi. Okay, so there will be a project where the people doesn't need much Power BI knowledge there. They just wanted to generate a report and see how the sales are coming. So that automatic creation is possible in Fabric. But if they extensively wanted to apply some calculations, DAX, everything, they'll hire the Power BI role.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so that is how the Fabric is going to change.
Okay. So anyway, this gonna help me. I mean, so since
Yeah,
I'm from
because
the
you know
because
Power
I was
Query.
confused, but
Yes.
okay. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Sai. Thank you.
No worries, no worries. Okay, guys. So if you we can join tomorrow and we can continue the class. So we'll be discussing the basic curriculum. We'll be starting like the actual class from tomorrow. Okay. So we'll discuss very slowly, but we'll start the classes tomorrow. Is that fine, everyone?
Yeah, okay, Sai. I'm actually my last week my job is get over, so now I am free, Sai. So I'll attend continuously the program.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Deepika.
Yeah.
And then, Sai, the
Let me
timing
know.
would be the same or it will be different, like regular?
Uh, this will be same. The timings will be same.
Okay. Um,
So anything, any
okay.
disturbance in the timings?
Yeah, sometimes like I have to work so US hours sometimes, so there will be conflict. So I think we also have morning batches, right?
We have morning batches, but it's in progress as of now. So let's discuss, okay, about the timings part. Just
Okay.
attend couple of demos, like a couple of classes tomorrow, day after tomorrow, then at least 3-4 classes you attend and then decide. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.